The moves I make, I most definitely have an agenda. I don't do anything to piss off.
50 Cent was recently seen attempting to knock down Big Meech once again. You heard that before all of this chaos, 50 Cent and Big Meech had mutual respect. In fact, after Big Meech was released from prison, 50 was there to visit him, showing support and maintaining their close relationship. It made sense that 50 had based his BMF TV series on Maya's legacy, giving his story an even larger platform. Rick Ross recently revealed the true motivation behind 50's attacks, and it's not just beef. It's a calculated move to bury Meech for good. The lies, manipulation, and agenda 50 has been pushing will sicken you. On October 15, 2024, Meech was granted early release from a Florida prison after serving the majority of his sentence. He was then transferred to a halfway house where he will complete the remaining portion of his reduced sentence. The show, which debuted in 2021, rekindled interest in the Black Mafia family's history and, in a sense, helped cement his name in hip-hop culture. Meech was sentenced to 30 years in 2008 after being found guilty of several charges, including criminal conspiracy and money laundering for his role in the Black Mafia family empire. He will be under supervised release until January 27, 2026, but that obviously won't stop him from making an impression. Getting out was still a big deal, and 50 was there for him until he wasn't. But once Big Meech decided to work with Rick Ross, it was over, so now that he's officially back out, he wanted to make his comeback as spectacular as possible by throwing a star-studded welcome home show that will rock Miami. It's the biggest boss. Ricky Ross, the moment has here. February 13th is approaching, so purchase your tickets now. We know that Miami and Florida will be there, and the icon himself will be in the build. Let's face it, however, after over 20 years. With a proper homecoming. Behind bars is the perfect opportunity for the Black Mafia family boss to return to the spotlight. Rick Ross will finally perform BMF in front of the man who literally inspired the song, but he won't be the only one taking the stage. The lineup is packed with some of the biggest names and rap we're talking about. Lil Baby 21 Savage, Seductive Crimson Black, 42 Kodak Doug-esque's Moneybag, Hey Boss Man Low, and more. But one man was left out, and 50 did not take that lightly. If you know 50, you know that he expects complete loyalty. The man has been at odds with Rick Ross for decades, and now Meech is standing next to his biggest op. 50 was not having it. So let's go back a little and discuss this iconic feud between 50 Cent and Rick Ross. In the late 2000s, Ross and 50 got into a spat over something so trivial that it was almost hilarious. I believe that this Rick Ross feud is the one that 50 will never let go of. When Big Meech announced his show with Rick Ross, 50 took it as the ultimate betrayal. It wasn't just about business, it was about loyalty. Instead of letting it go, 50 Cent did what 50 does best. He went to war. Hey, you want about 50 Cent, but I swear this man's pettiness is uncanny like this. I feel like everyone's alter ego. The moment the Welcome Home concert was announced, 50 Cent wasted no time clapping back, jumping on Instagram with a post featuring a giant rat with the caption, "I think I'm Big Meech." That wasn't even the worst part of the caption. 50 made it apparent that Meech's decision to distance himself from one important individual was his worst error. Tammy Cowens. You're not alone if you're wondering who to trust. In the past, Tammy was Meech's business partner and assistant, but according to former BMF member Blue Da Vinci, she reportedly turned on the FBI and became an informant. While he was incarcerated in 2008, NCH even placed Tammy in control of BMF Entertainment, but by 2009, she reportedly began collaborating with the federal government. If there's one thing 50 likes, it's a good old snitch charge. Blue implied that if Tammy flipped, Meech may have done the same to have his sentence lowered. But here's where things get interesting. After years of collaboration, Tammy Cowens even reached out to 50 Cent with a message for Meech. I agree it's unfortunate, right? It really is, but I agree, so you know we'll just let it be told when the story gets told, and I'm only going to stick to the truth and keep it pushing, right? That's it, that's all it is. If working with Tammy made Meech a snitch, then what does that Make 50 people were quick to call out 50's hypocrisy, pointing out that he had been cozy with Tammy when it benefited him. If he was cool with her back then, why was he suddenly mad about her connection to Meech now? And Meech was not about to let 50 drag him like that without clapping back. The very next day, he hit Instagram with a post of him and 50, but with a big rat sticker covering 50's face and internet gangster stamped over his body. The message was loud and clear: he wasn't having it. And just in case that wasn't enough, Rick Ross, who never misses an opportunity to troll 50, jumped into the mess, laughing at how pressed 50 was over Meech taking a picture with him. Took a picture with Rick Ross. You like put your back against the wall and just lie down. But if you thought 50 was going to take the L and move on, you don't know this man at all. The same day, he doubled down, posting yet another Instagram shot, this time clowning Meech's response. He referenced Big Screech, also known as his new nickname for Meech, implied that the text messages going around were crazy, and said that he was a rat. Then, he released another video, this time of a random man talking about snitching, but with Maya's face on it. I get paid to snitch now that it's classified, but I can't even really talk about this because you're my boy. Oh my god, I don't know why, but he had Tammy Cowan doing all his dirty work, his new ta, and he directed her and put her in touch with people to get his time cut. Basically, 50 continues to push the idea that Meech was planning moves behind the scenes to shorten his sentence, but he went further, accusing Meech's son Lil Meech of being unappreciative and turning against him. The worst thing was that Lil Meech had always been devoted to 50, but 50 turned on him too, threatening to remove him from the BMF program and humiliate him in public. He even admitted to Ross that he gave my dad some bread so he could afford to pay his bills until our next season, but 50 wouldn't have it. He took those private messages and posted them all over Instagram, writing, "Now mad at me when I would take the shirt off my back for you." I can't believe this man acts as though he is your enemy. His love only showed you love and loyalty in human beings. I go through my own stuff, but I never betrayed you. In his most recent attack, 50 decided to take things really personal by posting a video montage of Lil Meech and Rick Ross's daughter to Roberts from their adolescent years. The clips showed them at her Sweet 16 party in 2018 and even rolling up to prom together. The original post claimed they used to date. Was there a reason 50 needed to bring this up in 2025 for maximum pettiness? Yes, he did it for maximum pettiness, but 50 wasn't just being messy for fun, he used it to mock Big Meech's parenting abilities. While working, he drafted a letter explaining why the old guy failed to protect Mimi and send him to acting school. Big Screech, all of your people who were out did nothing to help him, and you return home believing that you are the black one. When Meech was in jail, he was out here securing the bag for the family. I helped your family make over $5 million legitimate dollars. It's not my fault it's all gone. You think people don't see you wearing the baby's jewelry because you want to shine so badly. Pablo Escobar then effed him up and boasted about how much money he allegedly made for the Fenner family, specifically through his BMF TV series on Stars. Return the baby's jewelry. 50 Cent is not easing up on Big Meech, who has officially denied ever folding, but he is still applying pressure and intensifying the accusations of snitching. Under pressure, Meech was not going to let that story go unanswered. He made it clear in a video response that I wasn't going to address this because I'm not trying to let anyone trick me off the streets, but I never folded, never told. And I never will die. The photos on Always With Me. However, 50 wasn't buying it, so instead of letting it go, he went on Instagram and tore Meech apart, pretending that most of these artists aren't even showing up, so be disappointed when Little Baby doesn't show up, when Skill doesn't appear, when Vis doesn't appear, and all these don't show up. In case anybody was still unsure, 50 made it clear in his caption, if the artist on the bill doesn't appear, would you request a refund? I'm reading this, dude. He's reading this even if you want house arrest and can't go. Big Screech won't even be there since he isn't allowed to leave after 6 p.m. But he always has to have the final laugh, so don't take my word for it and go ahead and have a good time. I wasn't going to address this because I'm not trying to let anyone fool me off the streets, but I never folded, never told, and never will die before the sign Always With Me, so I'm doing this for my loved ones and the support of my friends and family. He even wrote, "This is crazy, my stomach hurts. I just need a little help to get out of the way." 50 then followed up with a skit mocking me and making it look like he was reading off cue cards during his video. The 4th season of Stars is scheduled to premiere this spring, but it's unclear what will happen because 50 threatened to fire Lil Meech, who plays his father in the show. Let's face it, 50 is petty enough to carry out that threat, but he's not the only one stirring things up. Rick Ross couldn't help but get involved in the drama and is now discussing making his own version of the BMF story. I do want to make a BMF film because you've been entertained by a mediocre low-budget series. Now is the time for a big-budget film, not just any movie. According to Ross, he's bringing in big-name Hollywood stars. A special shout-out to my friend F. and Toan Fuker and Gary Gray. What's going on? Tarantino? Sell a lot of legends? I can sense that this is going to be huge. I'm just chatting, and when you speak to a big player like me, pay attention to the movements I make. I most surely have a plan. I don't take any action to annoy a little peon. Even Young Buck has seen dramatic fallout from this conflict. One of 50's ex-Gunnet members publicly supported Big Meech and said, "Welcome home, Big Meech. Stop playing with dudes." I'll say that repeatedly. I catch you all when I catch you guys. You know what it is, bro. Hey, I haven't been on here in a while. I'm going to let them see what the butt. 50 said, "This idiot fell out with me because he likes boys," in response to Buck supporting Meech. I didn't advise him to go out with a lover. He was so busy that fans began to wonder if 50 Cent's beef obsession was finally getting to him. The real question is this: is 50 Cent truly upset about loyalty, or is he just trying to maintain his grip on the BMF brand? On the surface, it might seem like he's calling out disloyalty, but if loyalty is his concern, then his own son, Marquise Jackson, has a different perspective on the subject. Marquise, who has had a strained and highly public relationship with 50 Cent for years, didn't hesitate to throw shade at Lil Meech when he found out that Meech had linked up with Rick Ross. In a sarcastic tone, Marquise mocked Meech, essentially saying, "I thought you were different. You really believe that? Who told you that you were special?" Think about it. This wasn't just random trolling, it was a calculated jab, hinting that Lil Meech may have been naive about the industry and how alliances shift over time. But this situation is deeper than just Lil Meech, Rick Ross, and 50 Cent. It ties into a broader pattern. 50 Cent has built a reputation for exposing people he believes are snitches, and he's done it time and time again. He went after Ja Rule, exposed paperwork on T.I., and now it seems like he's setting his sights on Big Meech. But here's the twist: Big Meech himself is the one exposing alleged informants now. The question is, why does he have all this inside information, and what's his motivation for revealing it? Meanwhile, Rick Ross and Big Meech don't appear to be bothered by any of the noise. They're moving forward, securing business deals, booking concerts, and focusing on expanding their empire. Regardless of what 50 Cent says or does, they seem unshaken. Ross, in particular, has always been calculated in his moves, and his relationship with Meech is only growing stronger. Whether that's strictly business or something deeper remains to be seen, but one thing is for sure, 50 doesn't seem to like it. And that leads us to the bigger issue at play. Is 50 Cent genuinely concerned about the integrity of BMF, or is he just upset that he's losing control over the brand he helped popularize? Fans of BMF, both the TV series and the real-life movement, are divided. Some believe that 50 has every right to call out disloyalty, while others argue that he's simply trying to maintain his dominance over the narrative. There's also a group of supporters who say that 50 Cent has no reason to expect loyalty from Big Meech in the first place. Some argue that Meech owes him nothing. After all, Irv Gotti once came close to losing his life because of 50 Cent's actions, and the streets have long memories. To them, this is just another chapter in an ongoing saga of power struggles, where alliances shift based on opportunity rather than loyalty. Their name was already etched into the fabric of hip-hop history, with artists like Young Jeezy and Rick Ross carrying the torch forward. The influence of BMF was undeniable, even without the Hollywood spotlight. And in the same way, their story will persist even after the BMF series ends. Ultimately, the dispute between 50 Cent and the Meeches isn't just about petty drama, it's about control. 50 Cent has always been a master of manipulating narratives, and in his world, control over the story is everything. But Big Meech and Lil Meech are no strangers to control themselves. They've built an empire, weathered storms, and survived in a world where loyalty can be bought and sold. In the end, their place in history is secure, regardless of what 50 Cent does next. One thing is certain, this drama is far from over, and if things continue as they are, we may witness the most messy hip-hop feud of 2025 play out in real time. Please share your thoughts in the comments section below, and if you want more tea on the biggest hip-hop feuds, stay tuned for our upcoming video. Trust me, you won't want to miss it.